the Honourable David Michael, the Minister for Mines and Petroleum in the Government of Western Australia. The Honourable David Michael studied economics at the University of Western Australia.
Thank you, Roxandra. It's an absolute privilege to be here, and can I welcome all of those African ministers, delegations and distinguished guests that have travelled so far for this very important event. Can I also acknowledge that it's a special privilege this morning to be talking and to be on Whadjuk Noongar land, our traditional owners, and I pay my respects to their elders past and present. Africa Week in Perth highlights the growing trade and investment relationship between Western Australia and the African continent. Congratulations to Bill and the team at PayDirt for bringing ministers and senior government officials of many African countries, industry leaders and investors together for this forum. It's pleasing for me to be here as the state's mines minister because the mining sector is one of the most important aspects of the trade and investment relationship between Western Australia and many African countries. For instance, the value of Western Australia's goods exports to COMESA countries in 2023 was $300 million. The top exports were aluminium ores and concentrates, including alumina, liquefied propane and butane, and wheat. Meanwhile, the value of Western Australia's goods imports from COMESA countries was $28 million, and those top imports included fertilisers, equipment for distributing electricity, crude vegetable materials, coffee and coffee substitutes. Coffee is very important this time of the morning, and especially after dinner, and fruit and nuts. Get the slideshow working, there we go. Currently, there are around 72 West Australian companies actively operating 136 projects across a number of commodities in 27 African countries. I'm sure many in the room are familiar with some of the Western Australian mining companies operating in Africa, including Ecograph's Graphite Project in Tanzania, Fortescue's Iron Ore Project in Gabon, Jupiter Mines' Manganese Project in South Africa, Lindian Resources' Rare Earths and Bauxite projects in Guinea, Malawi and Tanzania, Many Peaks lithium and gold projects in Côte d'Ivoire, and West African Resources gold mining projects in Burkina Faso. Just as our state's mining and exploration sectors are thriving in Africa, so too are our world-class mining equipment, technology and services companies. Western Australia is a world leader in mining with an industry that dates back more than 100 years. Our global reputation in mining is based on mineral diversity. Western Australia has a significant global production market share of commodities, including iron ore, gold, lithium, rutile, zircon, alumina and rare earths. It is the state's iron ore project majors such as BHP, Rio Tinto, Fortescue and Hancock Prospecting that are developing cutting-edge mining production and logistics methods. And all you have to do is have a look at the skyline of the city of Perth to see where the headquarters of some of these companies are. Advancements in remote operation centres are core to each of these companies' productivity methods. Advancement in remote operation centres are core to each of these companies' productivity measures. From a base in Perth, some 1,300 kilometres away, a wide range of machinery, trains, trucks and drill rigs in the Pilbara region can seamlessly and safely be operated. There is also great emphasis on reducing greenhouse gas emissions, with battery-operated machinery gradually displacing diesel machines. And obviously, if you've seen some of these trucks operating remotely from Perth without a driver, I think we have over 400 autonomous trucks here in Western Australia in our mining industry. We are world leading in some of that technology. It was Western Australia's world-leading resource sector that was a key driver behind a Memorandum of Understanding with the 19-nation Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, COMESA, in 2014. Knowledge and technology sharing in the fields of mining, petroleum and agriculture were primary objectives in the original MOU. which was renewed for a further 6 years by my predecessor, Bill Johnston, in Cape Town in 2018. A revised MOU with COMESA, with involvement from Curtin University, has recently been prepared for consideration, and we look forward to its progression in the near future. No doubt, our vision for the future of mining in Western Australia to not only extract our resources from the ground in a safe and responsible manner, but to value add to our material, particularly our much sought after battery and critical minerals, will be of great interest. Our state has recently released a refresh of the battery and critical mineral strategy. While a budget commitment of $100 million to establish a common user critical minerals advanced processing facility here in Western Australia, which is subject to match Commonwealth funding, has also been made. Capturing more value onshore through increasing the downstream processing of critical minerals and manufacturing high-value materials and products is our ambition. Our strategy aligns with that of the Commonwealth Government, and we look forward to seeing Western Australia taking advantage of the federal government's Future Made in Australia policy, which establishes a production tax incentive for processing and refining critical minerals. In addition to developing Western Australia's industries to contribute to global decarbonisation efforts, the strategy will diversify our economy and deliver meaningful outcomes for regional and Aboriginal communities. We hope to be an effective partner in helping to shape better administered policy and regulatory mining frameworks that would help encourage the sustainable exploration and development of Africa's sizable mineral and petroleum resources. Recognising these challenges, Western Australia believes that its approach to the resource sector development and regulation will assist countries in Africa to develop their mining industry, and sharing the West Australian regulatory mining system through COMESA is an excellent endeavour. Cultural ties are also important. There were over 4,300 student enrolments from African nations in Western Australia in 2023. The top 3 countries were from COMESA, Kenya, Mauritius and Zimbabwe, and we're delighted that in 2023 and 2024, 2 Kenyan and 1 Zimbabwean student received the Western Australia's Premier's University Scholarship, valued at $50,000 Australian to undertake postgraduate studies here in this state. There are more than 100,000 Western Australian residents who were born in African countries, which is around 20% of the African-born residents in Australia. And the top 5 COMESA represented countries were Zimbabwe, Kenya, Mauritius, Zambia and Egypt. So, in conclusion, WA looks forward to working with African diplomatic representatives to strengthen our growing ties. Can I wish all participants a continued successful conference and a memorable stay here in Perth. I hope the weather clears up a little bit, but I really appreciate that many of you have made a very long journey to come here to learn about our mining sector and to strengthen those ties. Thank you so much for having me.